Hello, my name is Tim Hofflander, and this video is called Quitting Hardcore Addiction. Addictions have many causes, mental, physical, spiritual, as well as many others. But for hardcore, long-term addiction, the spiritual aspect is often the dominant factor. Having said that, keep in mind that if you have a long-term problem, you need to consistently try everything that you can in every way to try to quit. In this session, we will start with the spiritual, then see how it relates to everything else. So, we will start out with a prayer. The prayer is, Father, help me to care only about quitting my addiction. Obviously, when we pray, help me to care only about quitting my addiction, we are not excluding caring about things like family or responsibilities. We are merely trying to exclude things that may lead back to addiction. Example number 1, we have the hardcore gambler, now clean for 9 days. He is called by a buddy who invites him to a sports event. The second he is invited, he knows all his gambling buddies will be there. But what is the harm? They won't be gambling at that event. He goes. And the very next day he is in full swing on a gambling binge, the type that almost always has ended with him being broke in the past. In this example, he fully cared about quitting his addiction, but he also badly wanted to go have fun. And let's be honest, when we are disciplined and schedule an alternative event, it will not always be quite as much fun. But if he had cared only about quitting his addiction, he would have turned down the first offer where he knew he would fall into severe temptation, and he would have found something else to do. He might be doing something only 70 or 80% as fun that Friday night, but he could keep his joy for the whole week, and yes, his money as well. Example number 2. We have a smoker clean for 5 days now. He has been reading a book on controlling his emotions, because he knows that when things go bad, he always needs to smoke. On Sunday, he wakes up highly determined to stay clean. He goes to church. After he gets home, he reads his book and even underlines the parts he wants to think about later in the day and meditate on. That's very strong indeed. Then, his wife starts to nag him about their finances. He immediately blows up and gives her a long, thorough piece of his mind. I don't need to tell you how this story ends, but I will. Up in smoke. When we pray, Father, help me to care only about quitting my addiction, we are directly asking God to help us pause before blowing up. We are asking Him to make us realize how important it is to fight to control our emotions. Our partner or boss wants to start a fight, but now we care only about quitting our addiction. Instead of blowing up, we calmly give a short explanation and leave the room. If your boss or husband insists on ragging at you, plan a short, well-rehearsed speech that will diffuse the situation. When they keep coming at you, give them a well-rehearsed puzzle book, which will say to them, what is wrong with you? Then just stop talking. Key point number 1. Read books that will help you control your emotions or the things that are out of control in your life. Underline key points of advice and review that advice often until it becomes a habitual part of your life. Example number 3, we have the hardcore drinker. Clean for 6 days now, she is in the mood for a good movie. She loves her HBO and likes to rent movies often. She starts to watch a movie and then notices that there's a major theme of smut and partying going on. Well, she's not going to give up that quickly for a movie that she paid good money for. After the movie ends, she can't get to the liquor store fast enough. The next morning she wakes up and wonders who she is with and where she is. Here's a fact. Sin leads to addiction. For movie watching, try to wait for the movies to be on TV instead of paying for them. It is much easier to change a channel on a freebie. You have instant clean options with regular TV. Make it a goal to be clean in all ways. Even when you stay clean from your addiction, if your mind is filled with dark, evil things, you will never find real joy. When we pray, Father, help me to care only about quitting my addiction, we are directly asking God to show us if our movie channels, or our this, or our that, are leading us directly back to our addiction. This is exactly the type of prayer that God answers. He wants you to be clean, filled with light, and be fighting to get this darkness, or sin, or addiction out. Key point number 2. Always be analyzing what you are doing that leads you back to your addiction. Then find ways to make the changes that will help you succeed. My name is Tim Hofflander. Thank you for watching.